All right, so you're probably like everyone else, right? Dying to know what's up with Android 15. Like, what's new, what's changed? Well, you're in the right place because we're going deep on this. We got the Android 15 Wikipedia article and a blog post from Google. It's called Android 15 New Updates for Foldables, Tablets, Phones, and More. And get this, the code name for this release? Vanilla Ice Cream.
Vanilla ice cream. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Google always seems to pick something sweet for these Android code names.
Right. Makes me want a milkshake. But okay, enough about dessert. Let's get down to brass tacks. First off, timeline. Wikipedia says the first developer preview came out in February 2024. Source code was released September 3rd, 2024. But the big day, October 15th, 2024, that's when it went live for all the Pixel devices.
Yeah, I got to remember that's just for Pixels, though. All the
Yeah.
other manufacturers, Samsung and the like, they'll have their own timelines. Probably be waiting till 2025 for some of them.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue, right? Especially if you're not rocking a Pixel. But let's be real, everyone wants to know about the features. Wikipedia actually lists out what was in that first developer preview. Privacy Sandbox, for one, which is, by the way, huge for how apps can use your data. Then there's Health Connect to keep all your health stuff together, file integrity features for better security, even partial screen sharing, which I know people have been asking about forever.
Oh, yeah, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, man. Those are just the announced features, you know what I mean? The real fun starts when people dig into the code, find those hidden gems. Google always has a few surprises up their sleeve.
Oh, they definitely found some cool stuff. Remember lock screen widgets? They were in Android 4.2, gone in 5.0, now they're back. Like a blast from the past. Plus, there's a new battery health feature, tells you how your battery's doing. And app archiving, got a major upgrade.
Oh, yeah, both sources mention that. It's way more integrated now, works better with the system and other app stores. Think about it. Archive apps you don't use without deleting them. Saves space, cleans up your phone, but you can still get them back easily.
Right. No more uninstalling and reinstalling just for space. And for those who use their Android for work or, creative stuff, Android 15's got some big improvements for multitasking and desktop mode.
Yeah, this might seem small to some people, but it's a big deal. Think about having multiple windows open, resizing them, switching between apps, just like on a real computer. Android 15 is getting closer to that for sure.
Okay, enough teasing. Let's reveal that super sweet code name we mentioned earlier. Drumroll. It's officially vanilla ice cream.
Classic. Google's got a thing for desserts, that's for sure. Cupcake, donut, eclair, froyo, the list goes on. Kind of fun, right? Makes tech a little less serious.
Right. Vanilla ice cream, a classic choice. Maybe they're hinting at Android 15 being back to basics, but with a bunch of awesome extras. But okay, enough about desserts. Let's talk security, specifically theft protection, which is getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, for good reason. That Google blog post goes deep on this. They're really trying to make Android devices way less attractive to thieves. And it's not just about getting your phone back if it's stolen. It's about preventing the theft in the first place.
So true. We're talking about features like theft detection lock. It uses AI and motion sensors to lock your phone automatically if it thinks it's being stolen. Then there's remote lock, where you can lock it from anywhere just using your phone number and a quick security check. Pretty neat, huh?
And it gets better. They've made it super hard to disable tracking or factory reset a stolen phone.
Yeah.
So even if someone does nab your phone, you've got a much better chance of getting it back. And think about it, if thieves know this, they might not even bother trying.
It's like a silent alarm system built right into your phone. And get this, these features aren't just for Android 15, they're rolling it out to older versions too. Anything running Android 10 or higher will get it through Google Play services. So no matter what Android you've got, you'll have this next level security soon.
Really smart move by Google, They're making the whole Android world more secure, not just the latest devices.
Absolutely. Speaking of security, there's another new feature in Android 15 that I'm really curious about. It's called Private Space.
Ah, yes. Private space.
It's basically like a hidden area within your phone, a place to keep your super sensitive apps and data locked away. A phone within a phone, kind of. Makes sense these days, right? Everyone's worried about privacy.
Totally. Our phones hold everything nowadays, from our bank info to our deepest secrets. People want more control over who sees that stuff.
It's like having different security levels in your house, right? Like you might have a living room where anyone can hang out, but then you've got bedrooms and maybe a safe for your valuables. Private space, is that safe for your phone?
That's a great way to put it. It's about having the power to choose what's private and what's not.
Yeah.
You pick which apps go in there, and you need a separate login to get to them. So if you're worried about someone snooping on your messages or bank app, Private Space gives you that extra peace of mind.
Yeah, especially if you share your phone with family or something, you might be cool with them seeing some stuff, but not everything. Private space solves that problem. But hey, we've got a bunch more features to talk about. Get ready for a rapid fire round of Android 15. Goodness.
Hit me.
Okay, first up, the screen recorder. Now you can record specific apps, not just the whole screen. Super handy for tutorials or whatever. And the volume panel. Got a slick redesign, looks all material designy now. Then we've got predictive back gestures with previews. Basically, it shows you where you're going before you go back, like it can read your mind. And there's a new screensaver, all about home controls. Making your smart home even smarter, right?
Oh, and don't forget TalkBack. The screen reader's been supercharged with Gemini AI. Now it can describe images in detail, which is a huge deal for accessibility. And if you're into music discovery, Circle to Search can now ID songs playing in the background.
So cool. But it gets even wilder. Some messaging apps can actually use satellite connectivity now. Imagine sending a text from the middle of nowhere, no cell service needed.
It's like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Could be a real lifesaver in an emergency, too.
Definitely a game changer. And hey, foldables and tablets are getting some love too. Taskbar pinning, app pairing, even vibration toggles, they're really making them more powerful and versatile.
Yeah, Android 15 is packed. So much to unpack here.
And we're not done yet. We still need to talk about those Pixel exclusive features. They're like a glimpse into the future of Android.
Totally. That's where things get really interesting.
So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after a short break.
Welcome back. We've covered a ton of ground already, but I think it's important to take a step back and ask ourselves, what does all this mean for the average user?
Right, like how are these changes going to actually affect the way we use our phones?
Exactly. Take those theft protection features we talked about earlier, for instance.
Mm.
Theft detection lock and remote lock. They're not just cool tech demos, you know.
Yeah.
They could really change the game when it comes to phone theft.
Yeah, that idea of deterring theft in the first place, that's what really blows my mind. It's like having an invisible bodyguard for your phone, always watching, always ready to lock it down.
Haha, exactly. Makes stealing an Android a lot less appealing, right? And remember, Google's not just doing this for the latest phones. They're pushing those features out to older versions too, through Google Play services. So they're basically making the whole Android ecosystem more secure, not just a select few.
That's awesome. It's like those old car alarms that used to go off if you even breathed on them, except this time it's all digital, all silent, all happening in the background.
Perfect analogy. But it does raise a question, right? With all this emphasis on security and tracking, are there any privacy concerns we need to be thinking about?
That's a good point. I mean, any technology that can increase security can also be misused, right? If it falls into the wrong hands.
Exactly. It's something to keep an eye on, for sure.
Okay, well, speaking of protecting your privacy, let's switch gears and talk about private space. This seems like a direct response to all the worries people have about data privacy these days.
Absolutely. Our phones hold so much personal stuff now. It's only natural that people want more control over who can see it.
It's like you might have a common area in your house where anyone can hang out, but then you also have private rooms, maybe even a safe for your most valuable possessions. Private space is like that safe for your phone.
Great way to think about it. All about choice, right? You get to decide what level of privacy you need for different parts of your digital life.
Exactly. You choose which apps go in that super secret space, and you need a separate login to get to them.
So whether you're worried about someone seeing your texts or your bank details, private space has you covered.
Yeah, perfect for people who share their phone with others. You can be open about some stuff, but keep other things completely locked down.
Makes sense. But hey, we've talked a lot about the big new features. What about those smaller updates we mentioned earlier? They might seem incremental, but they actually add up to a much better user experience overall.
It's like those little things you do in a relationship, right? Not grand romantic gestures, but just small acts of kindness that show you care.
I like that. And in the world of tech, those little things can make a big difference. Like the screen recorder update, for example. Now you can record specific apps, not just the whole screen. Could be super useful for people who make tutorials or how-to videos.
Oh, definitely. And the new volume panel with the material design makeover. It might seem superficial, but it makes your phone feel more polished and modern.
It's all about the details, right? Making those everyday interactions with your phone just a little bit smoother.
Absolutely. Speaking of smooth, those predictive back gestures are pretty cool. It's almost like Android can read your mind and knows where you want to go next.
It's a subtle way AI is starting to make our lives easier,
Yeah.
Anticipating our needs, streamlining those everyday tasks.
Yeah, it's those little moments of, wow, that's smart, that make a difference. And while we're talking about AI, we got to mention the TalkBack screen reader again. The fact that it can describe images now, thanks to Gemini AI, that's huge for accessibility.
It's amazing. People who are visually impaired can now experience the world through their phone in a whole new way. And for music lovers, circle to search, getting song ID, that's another win for AI.
Absolutely. And speaking of pushing boundaries, satellite connectivity for messaging apps, that's some next level stuff.
It really is. Imagine being able to send a text from anywhere in the world, even without cell service. Could be a lifesaver in emergencies.
No doubt. But of course, it's only available on Pixel 9 right now. Makes you wonder, will this become standard one day, or will it stay a luxury feature?
Good question. It all comes down to cost and accessibility, right? Hopefully we'll see this tech become more widespread so everyone can benefit.
Fingers crossed. And speaking of different kinds of devices, we can't forget about foldables and tablets.
Oh yeah, they're getting some love too in Android 15.
Taskbar pinning, app pairing, they're making them even more powerful for multitasking and getting stuff done.
It feels like Google's finally taking those larger screens seriously, recognizing that people use their phones and tablets for more than just, making calls and browsing the web.
Totally. The lines between phones, tablets, and laptops are blurring, and Android needs to keep up, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about productivity either. It's about entertainment too, making those larger screens more immersive and enjoyable for watching videos, playing games, all that good stuff.
So what does all this mean for the future of Android? Is it becoming more like a desktop OS?
That's a great question, and one we'll explore in our next segment. We'll be diving into those Pixel-exclusive features. They offer some tantalizing clues about where Google's taking Android next.
Sounds good. We'll be right back after a short break.
We're back, and we're finally getting to those Pixel-exclusive features.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig into these. It feels like Google's using the Pixel to show off what Android can really do.
Totally. It's like their playground. They can experiment with new ideas and push the limits.
And one of those experiments that caught my eye is the thermometer app, the one that uses the camera to take temperature readings.
Pretty wild, right? Instead of adding another sensor, they're just using the camera in a new way.
Makes you wonder what other hidden powers our phones have. And speaking of cool stuff, the new weather app. People are raving about how beautiful it looks.
Yeah, the visuals are amazing. Google's really upping their design games. Like they're saying, your phone can be both powerful and pretty.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's the little things that make a big difference, like that adaptive vibration feature. It changes the vibration intensity based on how loud your surroundings are.
Super smart. It shows they're thinking about the details, making those everyday interactions with your phone just a little bit better.
Yeah, it's like your phone can sense the world around you and react accordingly. Pretty cool. Okay, and we can't forget about Audio Magic Erasure.
Oh yeah, that one's a game changer. Being able to isolate or remove specific voices from a recording. So many uses for that.
It's like having a professional audio editor in your pocket.
Yeah.
And it shows how powerful Google's AI and machine learning are getting.
No doubt. AI is everywhere these days, making our lives easier and more personalized.
Totally. And speaking of personalization, the integration of Night Sight with Instagram, that's a brilliant move. Pixel users get amazing low-light photos for their stories.
It's a win-win. Instagram gets higher quality content, and Google gets to show off what the Pixel could do.
Smart move all around. So looking at all these Pixel exclusive features, it's clear Google wants the Pixel to be the ultimate Android experience.
Yeah, like the flagship model, the one that sets the bar for everyone else.
And it seems to be working. Pixel sales are up, and people love them.
For good reason. They're great phones.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Android 15, I want to leave you with a question. We've talked about AI, security, privacy, all this amazing technology. But are we getting to a point where our smartphones know us better than we know ourselves?
Whoa, that's a deep one.
Yeah.
It's definitely something to think about. I mean, our phones are collecting so much data about us, our habits, our preferences, even our emotions.
It's like having a digital twin that's constantly learning and evolving alongside us.
Right. And that can be both amazing and a little bit creepy.
Yeah, on one hand, it can make our lives easier and more personalized. But on the other hand, it raises questions about control and manipulation.
We need to be aware of those risks, for sure, and make sure we're using this technology responsibly.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an incredible journey exploring all the ins and outs of Android 15. We've seen some groundbreaking features from enhanced security to AI-powered tools to a whole new level of customization.
And the best part is, this is just the beginning. Who knows what amazing things we'll see in the future.
It's an exciting time to be a tech enthusiast, so thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Android 15. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of the world of technology.
Until then, keep exploring and stay curious.